Think about the last time you bought a brand new pair of clothes just because they were on sale and not because you actually needed them. Well, at first it seems like you've struck an absolute bargain. Might as well get a pair or two, I'll definitely wear it sometime. Well, just after one or two uses, suddenly you're stuck with piles of clothes that will never see the light of day. My name is Ahmad Yusuf Khaled and my matric number is A210406. As young adults who wish to present ourselves in the best way possible, many of us turn to fashion as a means of expression. Well, the problem arises when we get caught up in these fast-changing trends without being aware of the damaging industry that we are feeding into. As a fellow student who is on a tight budget but wants to appear presentable, I was sent down the long rabbit hole of seemingly cheap and accessible clothing. Before long, I began to realize just how quickly these clothes pile up in our wardrobes just to never be worn again. That led me to research just how bad the practices within the current fashion industry actually are. The fast fashion industry is highly damaging, and we as consumers must take collective action in stopping our support of it. Therefore today, I will explain the main problems of our current fashion industry, as well as a simple solution and the benefits of following this solution. Therefore, let's first explore the main problems surrounding the fashion industry. Firstly, textile waste pollution is one of the leading issues within the fashion space. Textile wastes are present within all stages of its life cycle, from its production to its use, all the way to its disposal. Let's take for instance synthetic fibers, which are most commonly used in fast fashion, are prone to releasing microplastics, which eventually leach into waterways, rivers, and our oceans. An article by Branca published in the Global Journal of Ecology states that this is because when plastics enter the natural environment, they are exposed to weathering processes, such as UV rays from our sun, temperature changes, moisture, physical abrasion, and chemical reactions. Over time, these processes change the physical and chemical properties of plastics, causing them to break down into microplastics and nanoplastics. Although they may be invisible to the naked eye, they can spread throughout the ecosystem and cause widespread damage. Secondly, the fashion industry continues to rely on the exploitation of workers. Fast fashion depends on mass-produced yet affordable clothing items, leading manufacturers to cut costs in any way possible, despite unethical and exploitative practices. Production plants and sweatshops, mainly in third world countries, employ workers below minimum wage, take advantage of child labor, and compromise on safety standards just to maintain lower production costs. Let's take for example the Rana Plaza in Dhaka, Bangladesh, which housed 5 garment factories and collapsed back in 2013. And this incident killed over 1,000 workers. This tragedy exposed poor safety standards due to the intense pressure to cut costs at the expense of workers' lives. Thirdly, fast fashion items have a very short life cycle. To meet high demands and deliver low price points, manufacturers resort to using low-quality materials. As a result, these clothes have shorter lifespans and limited use due to them showing signs of wearing out very quickly. For instance, an article published in the Journal of Cleaner Production exposed how pilling is a failure found in 55% of discarded garments. Pilling refers to the formation of these small fuzzy balls of tangled fibers on fabric surfaces due to the usage of shorter fibers or lower quality synthetic blends. Not to mention color fading, abrasion, and fabric breakdown, which are also common in fast fashion items. Clearly, the fast fashion industry is riddled with problems that need to be addressed. Thus, I will present a simple solution that we all can implement today. We can combat all these problems by making one simple shift to our spending habits. That is, to invest in fewer but higher quality garments instead of repeatedly buying inexpensive clothing that wears out quickly. We should choose well-made pieces designed for long-term use. This shift emphasizes selecting durable garments that can withstand regular wear over time, reducing the need for frequent replacements. This approach works by extending the lifespan of each garment, meaning clothes are worn for longer periods of time before being replaced. The idea is, when consumers make the shift to higher quality garments, not only will said garments outlast any of their cheaper counterparts, consumers also have a mindset shift. They will start valuing and cherishing these higher quality items. A comparative analysis of fast fashion and sustainable fashion by Nunes Martinez highlighted that sustainable, higher quality fashion is actually perceived as an investment. Since consumers pay more for the added value, they're more likely to take care of it, which also further extends the garment's life. This solution hardly entails any extra cost and may save you some time as well. Albeit we are spending more initially, we will be spending less often. This is because we are effectively substituting multiple small purchases with one bigger purchase. In short, choosing fewer, higher quality garments is a practical change that reshapes how we buy, use, and value clothing without demanding any extra time, effort, or long-term cost. Now, this all seems good in theory, but let me walk you through some benefits you can gain from this solution. This simple solution can benefit you as well as the environment. By implementing this method, we can actually gain better value from our purchases. When comparing between cheap and expensive clothing, we shouldn't only look at the initial cost. Instead, we should also consider the long-term value gained from both options. For example, an inexpensive piece of clothing may only survive 15 cycles of wear and cleaning before noticeable decline in overall condition. But a careful evaluation of cost per wear actually reveals that higher quality items often have a lower economic cost than their cheap and low quality counterparts. Secondly, you can gain a stronger sense of identity and control over your personal style. This is because we can actively engage in expressing ourselves through fashion pieces we actually like. A study by Liu, Baines, and Koo on consumers' well-being and fashion spending practices highlighted that consumers who choose quality clothing, especially bespoke pieces, actually feel a higher sense of competence and autonomy due to their involvement in crafting their own unique image. Thirdly, not only do we gain benefit from this solution, the environment will also thank you. Longer use of garments means less production and disposal of textiles. This directly leads to less pollution and carbon footprint. Studies show extending the average life of a garment by just 9 months of active use can reduce its carbon, water, and waste footprints by approximately 22 to 33%, says Cooper and Claxon in an article published in the Journal of Cleaner Production. In short, this small change in our spending habits can lead to big benefits for ourselves and the planet. Clearly, fast fashion is one industry that its problems can be tackled whilst benefiting us as well. All in all, fast fashion causes textile waste pollution, worker exploitation, and has a short lifespan. But just by investing in fewer higher quality garments, we can actually save money, save the environment, and boost our mental well-being in the process. So choose wisely, choose quality, buy less, but buy better when crafting your next OOTD. So when you see that next sale, stop for a moment and consider, just how much are you willing to sacrifice for something that will never outweigh its price? That's all from me. Thank you.